So once again, I welcome all the learners to the today's class. Present with the confidence. So if you are here because presentations make you nervous, you are in the right place. You may be knowing your subject well, but sometimes you struggle to show that knowledge once you stand in front of a class or in front of your friends, colleagues, whoever it may. You might speak too quickly. Sometimes you heavily depend on the slides. Sometimes you may forget what you have planned to say. Sometimes you feel anxious for days before the presentation begins. This particular course is designed for that kind of people. After going through this course, by the end, you'll have a practical system for creating, practicing, and delivering a clear academic presentation. Because of this course, you will be in a position to learn how to manage your nerves, organize your ideas, create simple and effective slides, use speaking notes without reading a script, and you will be able to rehearse in a way that builds real confidence. So, here, what are you going to learn in this particular course? Along with that, you will also learn what to do when something does not go perfectly according to your plan. So, this course will tell you how to recover if you lose your place. Suppose you forgot a point, sometimes maybe a technical glitch, or sometimes you may receive a difficult question from the audience. And our goal is not to turn you into a dramatic performer or make you speak like somebody else. We don't want you to be the loudest person in the room, but we want to make you simply ensure that you can communicate your ideas clearly, calmly, confidently to your class or to your audience. So here the course is designed in such a way that I would like to encourage you to work on a real presentation wherever possible. Maybe in the form of an upcoming class assignment, or maybe a presentation, maybe a oral presentation, assessment. Each and every assignment, if you are working out properly, definitely it will improve your confidence. Sometimes what happens is, don't rush to complete this particular course, because slowly we will learn, because we need some time. Say today we are having a class 1, so we'll have some 1 or 2 days gap, so that by the time you'll get some assignments, work on that assignments, like for example, uh, completing certain exercises what we provide, and recording yourself, practicing speaking. So where your confidence grows through the action, not through watching or participating these lessons alone. Sometimes after this also still you may feel nervous when you present. That is normal, because success means learning how to prepare well, manage how to manage these nerves, and continue speaking even when you feel some discomfort. So let me give you some overview about the entire picture of this particular course, what you are going to learn, what you are going to discuss. Let Allow me to share my screen. Is my screen is visible for you? Somebody can unmute and you can tell.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, good. So we will start with the first and foremost problem, the fear of being judged by others. It is one of the biggest challenge where most of the beginners face this particular challenge. So here we'll start with how we can overcome this anxiety. So as this basic level comes with 5 modules, so in the each module we will be overcoming certain fear and we will be developing ourselves in a systematic manner where also we are preparing ourselves and also we are recording ourselves to check whether improvisation is there or not. And also we learn how to craft a message that truly connects and structuring ideas for better understanding, the power of body language and presence, speaking clearly and controlling your voice, engaging the audience with the confidence, learning from practice and a real experience, growing into a confident and impactful speaker. So these are the modules that we are going to cover in the basic module. So let me dive into the actual uh, actual lesson, that is the module 1 where we understand what our nerves are doing. So just give me some time, 1 or 2 minutes. Let me share the PowerPoint. Confirm me whether you are able to see my screen and the text is easy to read. So in the today's class, so what are we are going to discuss in the today's class objectives, understand why presentation anxiety happens and learn how anxiety affects speaking, identify personal presentation triggers, begin managing nervousness effectively. See, here in this lesson, we are actually going to look at what actually happens when you become nervous about a presentation. This is an important place where we have to begin because it is difficult to manage something when it feels unpredictable. See, when you stand in front of your class, your heart starts beating faster, your hands shake, or sometimes your mind suddenly goes black. And you feel through your body, and you sense that your body has turned against you. But the thing is that the body is not trying to sabotage to you, but the body is trying to protect you. Suppose imagine a situation where your teacher announces that every student in the class will give you a presentation next week. Nothing is happening yet because you are still sitting safely and thinking that you will start imagining everything that it may go wrong because some most of the learners they picture themselves in certain kind of situations like forgetting certain words, imagining your friends are judging you. You see yourself sometimes standing in front of the class silently when the whole class is watching you. See, your body may begin reacting through the presentation still after some days. This reaction happens because your brain does not always make a strong distinction between a threat that is happening now and a threat uh, maybe you are imagining. When your brain detects danger, it activates a response system. That's how and why we feel our heart beat faster to send more blood through your body. Your breathing may become shorter and quicker. Sometimes your muscles may tighten and your attention may narrows as your brain searches for signs of the danger. This response is useful when you need to escape a physical threat. See, it is less useful when the threat is a classroom presentation. So, dear learners, you may not be in a physical danger, but your brain is interpreting the situation as a social threat for you. You could be judged, you could make a mistake, you could feel sometimes embarrassed, you could lose status in front of the people whose opinions matter to you. So, let us begin with some thoughts like where presentation anxiety often creates fast negative predictions. You might think that I am going to forget everything. Your brain is, see, this is what happens when your brain senses the danger. the four important physical responses that you can feel. So everyone will notice that the presenter is nervous, or sometimes the presenter may think that I may commit a mistake, or sometimes the whole presentation will go wrong. These thoughts feel always convincing because anxiety presents possibilities as though they are facts. Notice the difference between the statement, say, for example, I might forget one point and I will forget everything and embarrass yourself. Because when you observe the first statement, what is the first statement? I might forget one point. The first statement is describing a possibility. I might forget one point. The second statement describes complete disaster. I will forget everything. Lot of difference is there. I might forget one point. I will forget everything. So here, anxiety tends to exaggerate the danger while ignoring your ability to cope up. Second thing, anxiety affects your body. You may experience a racing heart, tight chest, dry mouth, sometimes shaky hands, dizziness, tense shoulders, feeling that you cannot breathe deeply enough. So these symptoms can be uncomfortable, but they are not proof that you are incapable of presenting. They are signs that your body has activated its alert system. And these symptoms can also create a second layer of fear in you. So sometimes I think you might be experienced. You notice your hands shaking. So you think everyone will see this. This increases your anxiety. Your body becomes even more activated, which makes the shaking. You feel that shaking. So this creates a feedback loop. Oh, you feel a symptom, interpret it as a disaster, become more anxious, and then experience a stronger symptom. See, the goal is not to become alarmed by the alarm system. Your voice. When your breathing becomes shallow, your voice may sound quieter, tighter, faster, sometimes less steady. You may run out of breath before finishing a sentence. You may speak without pauses because part of you wants to finish the presentation as quickly as possible. So we'll be in a rush. Okay, let me just pass on the statements and let me finish this presentation. Sometimes we will be using some filler words. Sometimes we will be using some filler words like most of the times in our presentation. Even we also use some filler words like okay, you know, yes, hmm, because your brain is working quickly to decide what comes next. That is the reason why we are using most of the times the filler words. This that doesn't mean that you are a bad speaker. Your delivery is being affected by a temporary stress response. That is the reason why we are using filler words. Anxiety affects your behavior. See, you might avoid preparing because thinking about the presentation feels uncomfortable. and sometimes you may tell yourself that you work better under pressure than leave everything until the last minute. You might write a full entire presentation script because you believe it will keep you safe, and sometimes will bring that uh, a piece of paper also. Sometimes we memorize every sentence and we avoid eye contact. We directly read from the slides or from the piece of paper what we bought and speak as quickly as possible, and we run away. These behaviors may reduce the anxiety briefly, but they often make the problem stronger over the time. See, reading a full script can make you feel safer during the presentation. It will teach your brain that you cannot speak unless every word is written in front of you. So, avoidance works in a similar way. When you avoid a presentation, you feel immediate relief. Your brain then learns automatically. Avoiding this kept me safe. So, when you have the next presentation you feel even more threatening. So, this is why understanding your personal anxiety pattern matters a lot. First, understand your personal anxiety. So, why you want to avoid yourself presenting? What are the triggers that make you to stop presenting? See, I don't say that all the students are nervous for the same reason. Certain students may be afraid of forgetting their words. Certain students they have a fear that because of their accent they will be judged. And some students are comfortable in front of the classmates. But when a teacher sits in front of them, they get anxiety. So don't label yourself as a bad at presentation. Instead of saying yourself presentation makes anxious, ask yourself which part of the presenting creates the strongest reactions for you. See, sometimes we will be waiting in the class to be called for our name. Is it standing up in front of the class? Is it making an eye contact? Is it speaking without a script? Is it answering the questions? Sometimes we worry that our classmates know more than myself. Is it presenting a language that is not your first language? So, specific problems are easier to solve than the general fear. So, most of the times, students, uh, they fear unnecessarily. If you are having specific fear, that specific fears can be resolved very easily than the general fear. So you are knowing yourself completely. A simple anxiety audit you have to do to yourself. If you imagine your presentations or any deliveries that you have done, you just recall that experience from that presentation. Notice when you are recalling, understand what anxiety that you have observed in the first appearance. Did it begin with the assignment that was announced when you started creating the slide, or the night before, or while waiting outside the classroom, or sometimes when you stood up, when you saw the audience, or sometimes when questions begin? Observe how anxiety appeared in your body. Your heart raced, your mouth became dry, your stomach tightened, your hands are shaking, or sometimes your breathing becomes shallow. Notice these thoughts, sensations. See, when you are predicting, what did you believe other people would think about you? What outcome were you most afraid of? Notice what you did in response. See, have you avoid preparing, or sometimes we over prepare? We will memorize a script, just read the slides, speak too quickly, avoid eye contact, apologize before beginning, or restart every time you made a mistake during the practice. So here, do not judge your answers. The purpose here is to identify your pattern. See, let me tell you one example. XYZ believes in his problem simply that he lacks confidence. When he completely audits, he discovers something more specific reason. Because whenever he imagines the question and answer section, immediately a strongest physical symptom, his main thought is, if I cannot answer a question, everyone will know I am not intelligent. See, his usual behavior is to overfill his slides with the information so that nobody can ask about anything he has not covered. Now, this student has something he can work with. His problem is not every part of public speaking. His strongest trigger is about uncertainty about the questions uh, asked during the presentation or after the presentation. See, here it is a specific problem. Here the fear is what? The fear is that the presenter has a fear that suppose from the audience, if I get certain questions which I will not be in a position to answer. See, this fear, this is a specific fear. This can be overcome when the presenter presents or prepares himself by more and more facts, concentrate preparing more on question and answer sessions or previous questions what they have asked. So for a specific fear, we have a solution, right? So identify your strongest presentation anxiety triggers and consider it as a specific to you, and try to find a solution for that. See, as I told you in the example, the specific fear is question and answer session. The student has a fear that where I will not be able to answer audience question. Suppose if the presenter is preparing well with all the previous questions or certain imagined questions on the topic, Definitely, the presenter may overcome this fear. See, whenever whenever we face this trigger, we tend to experience this thought, the body sensation, and our behavior. See, this looks like a permanent identity. So, what you have to do is record a simple baseline rating, say on a scale from 0 to 10. Rate yourself how anxious you currently feel about your presentation. 0 means completely calm you are, and 10 means extremely anxious. Every individual will have an score. If there is no correct score, this number simply gives you a starting point that you can compare with your progress later in this particular course. See, personal preparation anxiety audit is the first stage where you have to identify yourself by doing this anxiety audit. So identify when your anxiety begins. When a teacher gives you the assignment, when a person asks you to present, and understand how it affects your thoughts like body, voice, and behavior. Make a note of these triggers. That's what we need to do practically. See, imagine, say for example, I have given you an assignment. Immediately, what you feel when you get an assignment? When you get an assignment, what do you feel? What kind of anxiety that you experience, like physical anxiety? Note down all those triggers and we will try to solve how to overcome these triggers. By the end of this course, definitely you will overcome these triggers. So, specific fears are easier to solve than the general fears. So, what I say, confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes because of the action what you have taken. My dear learners, as everybody wants to improve their confidence, because sometimes the lack of this confidence, we fail to present effectively, we fail to talk, and we are behind others. So, to increase that confidence, practice. So, every day, let us practice one by one. And today also, I will share certain assignments, go through those assignments, seriously work on that. See, we are here to guide you, we are here to change you, and we want to bring that confidence among you when you are present. It depends on the efforts what you are putting, because any skill, if you want to learn, unless until you don't practice, you won't acquire that skill. So every day practice, take the feedback, and you can share to me also. We'll go through that one, and what changes, what improvements that you made in this 5 week module course. So the basic level, which comprises of 5 weeks. So every week there should be some improvement in overcoming your triggers. So if you are able to overcome these triggers, definitely there will be an improvement in our confidence, which leads to an effective presentation. You can become an effective speaker when you are able to manage your strongest triggers. So with this, I thank all the learners who joined today's class, and I appreciate. Uh, Let me stop presenting.